You're with Julian on the Brown Note and a review of... I don't know what to call this album because I'm seeing it listed as Panda Bear / Sonic Boom Reset. And then in other places I'm seeing it listed as the Panda Bear album. So Panda Bear is Noah Lennox, the MVP of Animal Collective, who in the around 2008 were the MVP of alternative American music. High point being Merriweather Post Pavilion, and then they've never sort of regained that sort of momentum of critical deity worship that they had at that point. And also the fact that Noah Lennox, as Panda Bear, released Person Pitch, which may actually be better than Merriweather Post Pavilion, two of the most acclaimed albums of this century. And Sonic Boom, Peter Kember is royalty in music. If you're into psychedelic music, he was with Jason Pierce the foundation stone of a certain kind of indie music, which is that in the early 80s they formed Spaceman 3, fell apart in disarray at the start of the 90s. Jason Pierce going on to do Spiritualized. And Sonic Boom, as he's known, Peter Kember's name is Sonic Boom in the music world, has re-emerged to an amazing extent in the modern era. All things being equal, his 2 hour long, and don't get the half length one. I don't know what the story is with that album because I saw a version of it where every song was in half, but it's like a 2 hour psychedelic masterpiece. It's so good. His first album in 30 years as a solo artist, but he has been gradually re-emerging with production on MGMT's album Congratulations, 2 Panda Bear albums, Tomboy and Panda Bear Meets the Grim Reaper, and the not just production but actually music as well. Beach House is 7, and I said at the time how much I really felt that Pulse, that Spaceman 3 Pulse, really bolstered that Beach House album. And he's great friends with Panda Bear and actually moved to Portugal where Panda Bear lives. What's going on there? I don't know. But anyway, it's Panda Bear / Sonic Boom and Reset, which is an album they've done together. And for anyone expecting a collision between Person Pitch, the Panda Bear album, and Spaceman 3, or even the more, all things being equal, the more recent Sonic Boom album, it's an incredibly tantalising prospect. It really is. So it doesn't live up to it. Yeah. So like this is a strange one. The opening track really sets the scene of what you're going to get. Getting to the point, which actually I'm just seeing now. I've put down in my note. I do actually have some notes. Eddie Cochran. It's actually got 3 Steps to Heaven sampled from Eddie Cochran. It's got very minimal musical parts, and just having that acoustic strum from 3 Steps to Heaven isn't very imaginative. It's not lush at any point really in this album, like the level of sonic detail that both artists are quite well known for. It's a very minimalist backdrop, definitely aiming for 50s and 60s vibes. As you get to the second track, and you understand that a lot of these songs are fully developed after about 40 seconds, but go on often for 4 or 5 minutes. It's more about vibes being maintained. It's also much less about Sonic Boom. His whole side of space rock is very much in the background for the majority of this project, and this is much more a Panda Bear project. I'm almost hoping that there is a version of this album which is the Sonic Boom led version of this album. That might be quite interesting to hear. There's an awful lot of childlike melodies on this album with the vocals, and virtually all of the melodies on this album are Panda Bear's vocals. He does all of the melodic lifting on this album there's like the musical backing, as slight as it is often just sort of pulsing away in the background, not doing a lot. I did finally, on the third track, Every Day, get a bit of the Spaceman 3 vibe, and also some actual melodies on the musical instruments that were being used as well, which is a rarity here. They're like, the tone of the album is bright and in the same emotional pocket the whole way through. There's very little variance in emotion. The lyrics are continually vague and meaningless, and it continually relies on vocals of Panda Bear to do all of the melodic lifting on almost every track. Like, it's an album where there's virtually no songs that stand out at all. It'd be difficult to put any one on and say this is a great track. Definitely got a sort of Phil Spector, Everly Brothers vibe as well. I can understand that sort of Buddy Holly minimalism, where it's just like with a vocal melody over the top, but the vocal melodies aren't quite in the bracket of the Buddy Holly vocal melodies. Whirlpool, I thought, was a standout. That really was quite a great track. There's one track really stood out for me, Living in the After. Oh, again, I've written down in my notes, it really reminded me of Save the Last Dance for Me by the Drifters. And I'm looking for the track list on Wikipedia, and it samples Save the Last Dance for Me by the Drifters. It also reminded me a bit of Stand By Me, and this is one song that stands head and shoulders above anything else. It's one of the shortest on the album, but it's got so many musical ideas happening once in the background. It's a wild ride. It was a fantastic track. Just about the only one that I would say that about. You do get a bit of Spaceman 3, Bright Lights, Big City, with Everything's Been Leading to This on the last track. But for two artists that I respect so much and expect so much from, and that dovetail so well together, it is a huge letdown. I've said on other album reviews, I'll listen to albums in two ways. In the background, this is perfectly serviceable. You stare at it and it actually gets quite grating. It's quite boring. It's very repetitive. It's got a few tricks that it repeats over and over. So I really look forward to the day I can get this collaboration between Spaceman 3 and Panda Bear. It sounds like a marriage made in heaven, but this very slight, 50s, 60s influenced vocal melody album with not very strong melodies and very little of that musical invention or psychedelia in the background is just a massive letdown. So thanks Phone for agreeing with me. I'm going to give Panda Bear and Sonic Boom and the album Reset, which has got some good reviews. No, I would give them good reviews. Trust me, if it was any good. I'm going to give Reset a 4 out of 10.